The Winford Academy is located in an old town on Helen Hill where jousting, a sport involving combat on horseback, is incredibly popular. Mizuno Takahiro, one of the students at Winford Academy, calls jousting a miracle because it brought him to a destined meeting with someone. On the day of the tournament, entry Celia Kumani, the student council president of Winford Academy, faced off against Vice President Avery Rana. Celia launched a graceful attack that thrilled the audience. As Rana seemed to pause, Celia asked if she was conceding, but Rana requested another try. Suddenly, Celia noticed a riderless horse running across the field. The horse had escaped from its stable, leaving everyone puzzled. Meanwhile, Kisaki Mio, walking alone, was startled as the galloping horse headed straight toward her. Terrified, she screamed as the horse chased her past a road barrier. The horse grabbed Mio's clothing with its teeth, tearing it and causing her to fall to the ground. Mio couldn't understand why the horse was so aggressive. Just as it was about to trample her, Takahiro appeared, calling the horse Sakura. He worked to calm the rampaging horse and eventually succeeded. Relieved, Mio watched as Takahiro removed a small piece of wood lodged in Sakura's leg, the cause of its distress. Smiling, Mio felt at ease as Sakura regained its composure. Takahiro commented on the horse's beautiful mane, leading Mio to believe he was complimenting her hair, only to realize he was talking about Sakura. Slightly annoyed, Mio noticed how Takahiro's primary concern was his horse. Takahiro then asked if Mio was hurt, and she reassured him that she was fine. Seeing Mio's torn clothing, Takahiro offered her his uniform jacket. Grateful, Mio thanked him. Takahiro explained that Sakura was a good horse but overly spirited, which was why she hadn't yet been assigned a jockey. Mio remarked that the horse's name was similar to hers, but Takahiro pointed out they were still different. Takahiro invited Mio to ride Sakura with him, and together they rode through streets lined with cherry blossoms. Mio admired the scenery, catching a few petals as they drifted in the breeze. It was spring, and Takahiro reflected on how much time had passed since he came to this country. Back at the jousting match, the competition between Celia and Rana continued. Celia successfully landed her lance on Rana's helmet, knocking off its decorative feathers. Declared the winner, Celia was praised by Rana for her skill, though Celia humbly noted that Rana had improved. Celia spurred her horse and rode away as the crowd cheered, convinced she could win the next tournament. Later, Takahiro and Mio took Sakura to the river for a drink. Mio asked if Takahiro would return to jousting now that his injury had healed. Takahiro admitted he had quit being a knight. Curious, Mio asked why he stayed at the academy. Was he planning to joust again or switch from the knight curriculum to the squire program? At that moment, Celia appeared, calling out to Takahiro. Mio was surprised to see her. Celia asked if Takahiro had considered her offer, leaving Mio puzzled about their conversation. Celia explained that she wanted Takahiro to become her squire, adding that it would be fantastic if he joined her. Takahiro hadn't decided yet, but Celia assured him she'd wait for his answer, expressing her strong hope that he'd agree. Afterwards, Celia left. Mio felt proud of Takahiro, impressed that someone as remarkable as Celia wanted him as her squire. She was confident that together they could win the summer tournament and even achieve worldwide greatness. They could form an unbeatable team, just like Takahiro and Julianus once were. As Takahiro prepared to leave with Sakura, Mio called out, asking him to wait for her. Takahiro and Mio took Sakura to the stables, where they found Asmussen James tending to the horses. Mio greeted him cheerfully, and James immediately asked why Takahiro had taken so long to return Sakura. Takahiro apologized, but before he could explain, Mio jumped in, telling James about how Sakura had chased her and how Takahiro had come to her rescue. However, James pointed out that it was Takahiro's fault Sakura had escaped in the first place. Mio continued, explaining about the piece of wood stuck in Sakura's leg, but Takahiro quickly asked her to stop recounting the incident. Once again, he apologized. James instructed Takahiro to put Sakura in the stall and feed her, and Takahiro followed his orders without complaint. While Takahiro busied himself feeding Sakura, Mio mentioned that she would return his uniform jacket later at the cafe. As Mio walked back to the school, she couldn't help but sniff the jacket she was still wearing, smiling to herself. Just then, Ryuzoji Akane noticed her and curiously asked what she was doing. Startled, Mio laughed nervously and quickly changed the subject, asking Akane if her jousting practice was going well. Akane replied that she was giving it her all, no matter how close the tournament was. Mio called her impressive and a favorite to win, though Akane brushed off the compliment, saying it was an exaggeration. Mio added that many students in other programs had been talking about Akane, but admitted that the top favorite was undeniably Celia. Hearing Celia's name, Akane became momentarily lost in admiration, imagining Celia's incredible skill. Snapping out of it, Akane finally noticed Mio's outfit and asked why she was wearing a boy's uniform. Mio burst out laughing and explained everything to Akane. Later, while working her part-time job at the cafe, Mio found that Akane had shared the story with Hiraji Ayako, who laughed as she heard about Mio and Takahiro's unusual day. Both Akane and Ayako teased Mio, saying it seemed like she was just having a string of bad luck. Mio admitted that unlike Akane and others in the night curriculum, she had no idea how to handle horses. Ayako chimed in, saying that Takahiro was so focused on horses that he probably made things extra challenging for Mio. She shared a Japanese saying, "If you want to win over a knight, start with his horse." Mio nodded, recalling the proverb, but Ayako advised her that it wouldn't be easy since Takahiro was always inseparable from his horse. Ayako then suggested a different approach, start with his stomach. Mio's mind immediately went to carrots. Ayako joked that Mio needed to win Takahiro over, adding that once she did, he could be all hers. Excited by the idea, Mio decided to make a delicious carrot-inspired lunch as a way to thank him. That evening, while walking home, Takahiro saw two small children playing, pretending to joust. Their mother called them inside for dinner, and the sight stirred memories of jousting in Takahiro's mind. Takahiro eventually arrived home at Ayako's cafe, where Mio greeted him warmly. Akane also acknowledged him, and Ayako offered him dinner. Takahiro, however, wanted to put his bag away in his room first. Mio handed back his uniform jacket, thanking him for letting her borrow it. Takahiro accepted it, noticing a cherry blossom petal stuck to the fabric. He stared at it silently, lost in thought. Mio asked him what was wrong, but Takahiro said it was nothing and headed to his room. The next morning, Mio was bursting with excitement as she prepared to go to school, carrying the special lunch she'd made for Takahiro. Meanwhile, in Takahiro's class, their teacher explained how the role of a squire was crucial in helping knights unlock their full potential during the summer tournament. Takahiro, now part of the squire curriculum, listened intently. In the night curriculum class, the students were practicing their jousting skills with lances. Akane was in the class, diligently training alongside her peers. When the break came, Mio hurried to the stables, carrying a special lunch she had prepared for Takahiro. She was brimming with excitement, hoping he would enjoy her carrot-themed meal, which included carrot salad, carrot Salisbury steak, carrot jam sandwiches, and carrot pudding. When Mio arrived at the stables, she called out for Takahiro, but he was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Takahiro was strolling through the back garden when someone called his name. He looked around and found a girl lounging on a swing suspended from a tree, enjoying a sandwich. The girl casually mentioned that her younger sister had made the sandwich for her, so she wasn't planning on sharing it with him. Takahiro asked if she was a second-year student. The girl introduced herself as Asuka Noelle Marys. Back at the stables, Mio continued her search for Takahiro but still couldn't find him. She felt disappointed, especially since she had gone to the trouble of making him a homemade lunch. Sakura, Takahiro's course, kneed repeatedly as Mio called out for him. Curious, Mio approached Sakura, who seemed to be eyeing the lunch basket she was carrying. Mio smiled and decided to offer some of the food to Sakura. Following Ayako's advice about starting with the horse to win over the knight, Mio opened the basket and began feeding Sakura. To her delight, Sakura eagerly ate the meal she had prepared. Mio felt a wave of joy seeing Sakura enjoy her cooking and decided to wait for Takahiro's return. Meanwhile, in the back garden, Noelle asked Takahiro if it was true that Celia had asked him to be her squire. She commented that she had heard he still hadn't accepted the offer. Noelle confidently added that she was planning to win the tournament that year and wanted to defeat anyone strong who crossed her path. She then boldly asked Takahiro if he would consider becoming her squire instead. At the same time, Mio noticed Takahiro's jousting helmet lying nearby while feeding Sakura. She picked it up, feeling nostalgic about Takahiro's past as a knight. Mio admired how cool Takahiro had been back then and how he still was now. She found herself deeply admiring him. Back in the garden, Noelle continued her conversation with Takahiro, revealing that she knew a lot about his past, including his time as a knight. She expressed how much it would mean to her if Takahiro joined her as her squire in the tournament, saying it would be a great help. Takahiro didn't give her a direct answer, only saying that he needed to get back to the stables. Noelle suggested they discuss the matter another time and asked him to consider her offer. Takahiro agreed to think about it and left. At the stables, Mio hugged Takahiro's helmet, taking in its scent. She couldn't resist trying it on and declared excitedly that she looked just like a knight. Her excitement was cut short when she suddenly noticed Sakura munching on the rest of the lunch she had prepared for Takahiro. Mio tried to stop Sakura, but it was too late. The horse had eaten everything. Heartbroken, Mio lamented all the time and effort she had spent making the meal. Then Sakura began to move restlessly, prompting Mio to tell her there was no more food left. Suddenly, Sakura let out a loud neigh and broke through the fence that had been holding her. Mio was terrified as Sakura bolted, falling momentarily before getting back up and chasing after Mio. Mio screamed in fear as Sakura pursued her relentlessly. She ran as fast as she could, darting out of the stable and onto the road, but Sakura didn't stop. It seemed the horse was furious, and Mio had no choice but to keep running. At that moment, Officer Valkyrie was explaining to Ann and Emma that a knight's most important attributes were their mind, skills, and body. The mind needed to remain calm under all circumstances, the skills had to be graceful, and the body should be strikingly attractive to capture the admiration of others. Both Emma and Ann were deeply impressed. As Valkyrie was one of the favorites for the upcoming summer tournament, her words carried significant weight for Emma, while her unshakable confidence made Ann completely smitten with her. Hearing her admiration, Valkyrie blushed modestly and insisted that she wasn't as incredible as they made her out to be. Suddenly, Emma and Ellen noticed Mio running toward them, screaming for help as she was being chased by Sakura, the horse. Alarmed, the two panicked, sensing that something was seriously wrong with the horse. Valkyrie, who had been closing her eyes while speaking, remained unaware of the chaos. She asked Emma and Ann why they were suddenly so flustered, reminding them that a knight must always stay composed. However, when Valkyrie finally opened her eyes and saw Sakura chasing Mio, she immediately screamed and started running as fast as she could. Even in her panic, Emma and Ann couldn't help but admire how elegant Valkyrie looked while running. Meanwhile, Takahiro returned to the stables and was shocked to find Sakura missing from her enclosure. Spotting a fallen lunch basket on the ground, he immediately recognized it as Mio's. Elsewhere, Valkyrie and Mio were still running for their lives. Frustrated, Valkyrie yelled at Mio, demanding to know why she was following her. Mio apologized profusely, explaining she had no choice. Distracted, the two ended up tripping and falling, landing on top of each other. Concerned, Mio asked if Valkyrie was okay. Valkyrie, flustered and angry, snapped at Mio to get off her. As Mio moved aside, Sakura managed to catch up and grab Valkyrie's skirt with her teeth, lifting her into the air. Valkyrie screamed, demanding Sakura put her down. Mio tried yelling at Sakura to calm down, but it didn't work. Desperate, Mio remembered how Takahiro had calmed Sakura before and decided to try the same method. She called Sakura's name, catching the horse's attention. As Sakura turned toward Mio, Valkyrie's skirt tore and she fell to the ground with a thud. Mio immediately approached Sakura and hugged her, soothing the distressed horse. From a distance, Takahiro spotted Mio holding Sakura and working to calm her down. To his relief, Sakura finally settled, becoming docile again. Valkyrie, still lying on the ground, was in disbelief over what had just happened. Mio turned to her and reassured her that Sakura was calm now. Emma and Ann quickly ran over to check on Valkyrie, who was furious. She accused Mio of orchestrating the entire incident, claiming it was a scheme to prevent her, as a tournament favorite, from competing. Mio was taken aback and tried to explain the situation, but Valkyrie wouldn't hear it. She pointed out Mio's apparent skill with horses and the knight's helmet she was holding, assuming Mio was an experienced knight. Mio insisted she wasn't a knight, but Valkyrie refused to believe her, vowing not to let Mio off the hook after the embarrassment she had suffered. Valkyrie demanded to know Mio's name. Mio introduced herself as Kazaki Mio. Hearing this, Valkyrie pondered whether Mio was listed in the knight curriculum. Without warning, Valkyrie threw a glove at Mio. Confused, Mio asked why she had done that. Valkyrie declared it was a formal duel challenge to defend her honor as a knight. Shocked, Mio dropped the helmet she was holding. Valkyrie added that since they were both knights, they should settle the matter with a joust. Mio was stunned by the proposal. Watching from afar, Takahiro couldn't believe what he was witnessing. He hadn't expected Mio to participate in a joust. Still, as he observed the unfolding events, Takahiro thought to himself that if fate truly existed, this must be part of it. Valkyrie challenged Mio to a duel for her honor as a knight. Mistaking Mio for a knight, Valkyrie declared her intent to face Mio in a jousting duel. Mio was startled by this sudden challenge. Takahiro, observing from a distance, watched their exchange. Valkyrie eagerly anticipated their upcoming duel, laughed confidently, and walked away. Emma, noticing Valkyrie strolling casually without covering her lower body, wondered aloud why Valkyrie would expose herself like that. An commented that only an extraordinary noble would laugh while dressed so boldly. They decided to catch up to Valkyrie. Takahiro approached Mio, who immediately expressed her inability to joust or duel. Just then, Sakura neighed loudly. That evening at a cafe, Mio shared her concerns about the jousting challenge, feeling utterly lost. Akane acknowledged Valkyrie's skill but pointed out that she often misunderstood situations and was incredibly stubborn. Ayako asked Takahiro if the duel could simply be cancelled. Takahiro explained that he and Mio had already discussed the matter with the student council earlier that day, but Reina, speaking on their behalf, declared that the documentation submitted by Valkyrie was binding and could not be revoked. Mio reiterated that she couldn't joust, but Reina clarified that it was no longer a duel, but a practice match approved by the student council. Mio had no grounds to argue further. Reina also reminded Takahiro that canceling the match after the schedule was set would tarnish the honor of knights, leaving Takahiro speechless. Mio began crying in the cafe, overwhelmed by her predicament. Akane added that Mio had never studied the knight's curriculum, making the situation even more challenging. Suddenly, Mio suggested asking Celia, the student council president, for help, noting that Takahiro was acquainted with her. At the mention of Celia's name, Akane drifted into a daydream of Celia riding a horse, clearly idolizing her. Akane was so captivated that she nearly lost consciousness. Mio tried to snap her out of it, but Ayako assured her that Akane would recover shortly. Takahiro argued that consulting Celia wouldn't make a difference since Reina's explanation was accurate. Would be dishonorable to tarnish Ignite's reputation. Mio, however, insisted that she couldn't duel. Takahiro then mentioned one way to avoid the duel, leaving Winford Academy entirely. Akane was shocked by this suggestion, and Mio quickly rejected the idea, stating she didn't want to leave school. If that was the case, Takahiro said, Mio had no choice but to participate in the joust. Mio protested, explaining that she didn't even know how to ride a horse. Ayako, upset, demanded Takahiro take responsibility, blaming him for not being around when Mio delivered his lunch earlier. Akane agreed. Ayako then proposed that Takahiro become Mio's squire. Takahiro admitted he had already considered this, but only for the duel itself. He then asked Mio to start training with him the next day, and Mio, determined, decided to give it her all. The following day, Takahiro and Mio began training together. Mio was shocked by the size and weight of the jousting lance. It was the first time she had ever held one. Takahiro instructed her to grip the lance. Mio hesitated, asking if such a rigid lance could sometimes break. Takahiro explained that it depended on the wielder. Mio struggled to lift the lance with all her strength. Takahiro told her to get accustomed to holding it. Mio complained about its weight, but Takahiro reassured her, explaining that using a lance wasn't about brute strength but balance. He instructed her to grip the shaft firmly, lean her arm and body slightly, and keep one hand steady on her hip. Takahiro also advised her to position the lance securely, aim its tip forward, and ensure the tip didn't touch the ground. Mio tried to lift the jousting lance, but due to her lack of balance, her body was pulled along with the movement of the lance. She ended up running downhill, unable to stop, weaving through a crowd of students heading to school. Ayako saw Mio struggling and shouted for everyone to get out of the way. Mio kept yelling that she couldn't control her steps or the lance. Shinoname, the school announcer, quickly broadcast the event, reporting that a girl with a lance was running through the crowd of students on their way to school. She also announced that the lance had flown in her direction and tore her skirt. Embarrassed, Shinoname covered her lower body with her hands. Mio, still panicking, shouted that she couldn't hold on any longer, but thankfully, Akane managed to catch the lance in time. Akane asked Mio what on earth she was doing, and Mio burst into tears before throwing the lance aside. Takahiro, who witnessed the entire incident, approached them. Later, Reina summoned Takahiro and Mio to the student council room. She scolded them for causing such a commotion. Mio apologized, and Takahiro took the blame, explaining that it was Mio's first time and that he had pushed her too hard. Reina raised an eyebrow and questioned what he meant by first time and pushing her. She asked Mio if what Takahiro said was true. Mio, flustered, explained that the lance was heavy and big, but Takahiro insisted she hold it. Then he told her to lean forward because they would use the long object to thrust. Her vague explanation made Reina doubt they were actually practicing jousting. Reina slapped Takahiro across the face and sent them away. As Takahiro and Mio walked through the school hallway, Mio apologized to him, but he told her not to worry about it. James greeted them and teased Mio for making the morning so entertaining. He also expressed surprise that Takahiro had agreed to be her squire. Takahiro clarified that it was only a temporary arrangement. James then asked if Takahiro had heard about the new transfer student, rumored to be an exceptionally talented girl with the potential to defeat all the top competitors and win the next tournament. James wondered if Takahiro was interested in meeting her. Later, while relaxing on the grass, Takahiro thought about the transfer student rumored to dominate the jousting scene. Suddenly, a small kitten approached him. Assuming it was lost, Takahiro tried to help, but the kitten darted away. Concerned about the dangers of the horses nearby, Takahiro followed. The kitten climbed a tree and leaped into the air. Takahiro reached out to catch it but accidentally grabbed something else instead, a girl's chest. Embarrassed, Takahiro quickly apologized. The girl introduced herself as Lisa. Just then, Lisa's friend Fiona called out to her and approached with her lunch, spicy tacos. Fiona was shocked to see Takahiro's hands still on Lisa's chest and accused them of doing something inappropriate. Fiona dragged Lisa away, muttering about how indecent people could be. She also warned Takahiro not to try anything weird with Lisa. Lisa assured Fiona that nothing happened, then handed the kitten to Fiona, who screamed in fear and begged Lisa to take it away. Lisa, amused, called the kitten adorable. Takahiro sighed, feeling like luck was not on his side that day. During the school break, Takahiro walked outside and ran into Mio, who excitedly showed him her progress with the jousting lance. She explained that after running with it earlier, she had discovered a trick to holding it properly. She waved the lance around, commenting on how strange it was that Takahiro had told her to use only a little strength when handling it. However, Mio suddenly lost her balance and fell, crying out in pain. Seeing her reddened hands, Takahiro smiled, proud of her determination and effort. That day, Takahiro was bathing Sakura, his horse. He even asked Sakura if Mio would be okay, to which Sakura neighed in response. Takahiro assumed Mio had potential since she had already learned to handle the lance in just one day. Celia then approached him, gently stroking Sakura and praising her as a great horse. Celia mentioned that Riina had told her about the commotion Takahiro caused earlier that morning. Just as Takahiro began explaining, Celia interrupted, asking if he had considered becoming her squire or if he was too busy thinking about Mio's duel. She also brought up that she had heard about a dish called okonomiyaki from Takahiro's hometown, noting that Takahiro himself was known for making it, though it took a bit of time. She said she could sense his youthful passion in it. Celia acknowledged that Takahiro had chosen to be Mio's squire and said she looked forward to seeing how it would unfold. She added that she would wait for his answer after Mio's duel and also look forward to tasting his okonomiyaki. Takahiro apologized to Celia, but suddenly he noticed that the hose he was holding had stopped running. It turned out Sakura was stepping on the hose, blocking the water flow. When Sakura moved her hoof, the water pressure built up, and it sprayed all over Celia by accident. Takahiro immediately apologized, but Celia assured him she was fine. He handed her a towel, but as he glanced at her, he was startled to see that her soaking wet clothes clung to her body, highlighting her figure. Embarrassed, he quickly turned away and offered her the towel again. Just then, Rana called out to Celia, asking her to return quickly. However, when Rina saw Celia drenched and Takahiro standing there, she jumped to conclusions. Rina accused Takahiro of being indecent and slapped him hard across the face. Meanwhile, Mio was practicing jousting in the grassy fields. She aimed her lance at the center of a ring hanging from a tree branch. When she successfully struck the target, she was ecstatic and proudly showed her achievement to Takahiro. Afterward, Takahiro started teaching Mio the basic rules of jousting. He asked Mio if she knew what jousting was. Mio confidently replied that it was a sport where you ride a horse and use a lance to attack your opponent. Takahiro confirmed her answer and elaborated that attacking different parts of the body would yield different scores. For example, hitting the arm was worth 1 point, hitting the stomach earned 2 points, and targeting the head was dangerous and considered against the rules. Mio nodded in understanding, but then asked, with an innocent curiosity, what would happen if someone hit the chest. She asked this while touching her own chest, which left Takahiro flustered. He quickly clarified that hitting the chest was the same as hitting the stomach, worth 2 points. Mio then noted that earning 3 points would end the first round and that there were 3 rounds in a match. Takahiro further explained that if a lance was dropped during a match, the person who dropped it would lose immediately. He also mentioned that a feather strike, where a juicer successfully knocked the plume off their opponent's helmet, could instantly change the outcome of a match. Even if the opponent had higher points or had won the previous rounds, landing a feather strike would result in victory. Takahiro explained all this while gently patting Mio's head, and Mio realized how fun jousting could be. Suddenly, a girl on horseback galloped toward Takahiro and Mio. She pointed her lance straight at them, causing Takahiro to quickly shield Mio with his arms. The lance stopped just inches from Mio's face. Relieved that it hadn't hit her, Mio let out a sigh of relief. The girl commended Mio for her bravery, remarking on how Mio hadn't flinched or moved her head even slightly. As she removed her helmet, it was revealed that the rider was Noelle. Mio mentioned that she had seen a carrot at the tip of the lance, so she wasn't worried even if it came close to hitting her. Noelle assured her that she would never aim a real lance at a beginner. However, Takahiro pointed out that it would still be dangerous if the lance accidentally hit her. Noelle confidently replied that she wouldn't make such a mistake. Moreover, she had demonstrated her skills, and she thought it would be better if Takahiro spent his time becoming her squire. Just as Takahiro was about to explain his reason, Noelle interrupted, saying she already knew that he wouldn't consider it until Mio's duel was over. That was why Noelle decided she would help Mio train. She was confident in her abilities and was certain that after Mio's duel, Takahiro would become her squire. Takahiro commented that Noelle was overly confident. Noelle then introduced herself to Mio, greeting her warmly, and Mio returned the greeting. Noelle began helping Mio with leg stretches. Mio winced in pain and asked Noelle to go easier on her. Noelle urged Mio to hang in there, saying that she'd get used to it soon. She explained that Mio needed to loosen up her leg muscles, as warming up would prevent injuries during the duel. Noelle kept pushing, pulling, and stretching Mio's muscles, leaving Mio grimacing in pain. After the stretches, Noelle introduced a strength exercise. Mio had to carry Noelle on her back while walking. Noelle kept urging Mio to move faster, but Mio insisted that she couldn't go any further. Takahiro asked Mio if she was okay, but Noelle dismissed his concern, saying he shouldn't pamper her. There wasn't much time left before the duel, and Mio needed Spartan training. Mio, however, retorted that Noelle was rude for implying she was heavy. Exhausted, Mio lost her strength, fell backward onto Takahiro, and all three of them tumbled downhill. They ended up lying sprawled on the ground, and Takahiro asked if Noelle and Mio were okay. Later, Mio was washing up in the bathroom when Noelle suddenly peeked in, startling her. Noelle commented on how beautiful Mio's body was, fair, smooth, and free from scars or blemishes. Mio was slightly embarrassed, realized for the first time how nice her own body looked. Noelle went on to say that she never would have guessed someone with such a gorgeous figure would be jousting. She even joked that she'd allow Mio to keep Takahiro a little longer. As Mio noticed scars on Noelle's back, Noelle shared her determination to win the upcoming summer tournament. Meanwhile, Takahiro was cleaning the stables when James appeared, handing him a gift for Mio. That night, as Mio lay in bed, she kept thinking about Noelle's dedication to training her. Unable to sleep, she picked up a book about jousting and started reading it. She even tried practicing some of the techniques from the book. The next morning, Takahiro handed Mio the gift from James. James complimented the feather decorations on the armor, saying they suited Mio and made her look like a true knight. Mio, confused, mentioned that she didn't have feathers, not realizing it was a metaphor for the ornamentation on the armor. James encouraged her to take good care of the old armor and suggested she polish it to bring out its shine. He wished Mio success in her upcoming duel. James then showed Mio Sakura, now fully equipped with protective gear. Mio was in awe at how impressive Sakura looked. James remarked that although Sakura could be a bit mischievous, she was a good horse, and it seemed like she had taken a liking to Mio. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Mio hugged Sakura tightly, promising that they would do their best together. She thanked James for everything. Next, Takahiro handed Mio a helmet, saying she couldn't joust without it. Mio was surprised and touched that Takahiro would give her his own helmet. She thanked him and tried it on immediately, asking for his opinion on how she looked. Takahiro smiled and told her she looked amazing. With everything ready, Takahiro declared that they were going to train hard that day. Mio, still trying to catch her breath from all the preparation, pleaded for him to go easy on her. However, Takahiro firmly stated that he wouldn't hold back, not even for his parents, siblings, or, after a slight pause, even his girlfriend. Hearing the word girlfriend, Mio blushed deeply but quickly shook it off, resolving to give the training her all. Takahiro emphasized the importance of their efforts, saying that no one knows what tomorrow will bring and that life is a series of interconnected events. Mio had to duel a knight named Bertile due to a misunderstanding. Not knowing anything about jousting, she spent her days training and learning the basics. Noelle taught Mio how to properly hold a jousting lance and how to aim it at her opponent. Noelle reminded Mio to keep her grip firm. After that, Noelle taught Mio how to ride a horse. Since it was Mio's first time, she struggled to find the correct sitting posture. Noelle instructed her to sit up straight. When practicing in armor, Mio kept getting hit repeatedly. Takahiro advised her not to fear her opponent's lance and to attack first, as dodging could be even more dangerous. The day before the match, Takahiro asked Sakura to look after Mio. While walking in the back garden, Takahiro suddenly saw Lisa's cat strolling by. He chased after it, caught it, and told the cat not to roam around the area to avoid being hit by horses. The cat meowed in response. Nearby, Lisa and Fiona were sitting together. Fiona called out to Takahiro, who handed her the cat. Fiona told him not to give it to her, suspecting that he was trying to peek at her underwear from his angle. Lisa then remarked that Mio's technique in holding the lance, riding the horse, and moving her body was all wrong. According to Lisa, letting Mio duel in that state would be pointless. Takahiro said it was up to Mio's decision. Besides, Mio wasn't focused on winning or losing. She just didn't want to run away from the duel. Fiona asked if that meant Mio was merely participating without intending to win. She didn't like when people juiced it just for fun without giving their best effort to win. Takahiro apologized and said he understood how Fiona felt. Fiona was surprised by Takahiro's sudden change in attitude. Lisa then asked if Takahiro was satisfied with Mio's lack of ambition, adding that her pride as a knight couldn't accept something like that. Taking her cat from Takahiro's arms, Lisa walked away with Fiona following her. Takahiro reflected that knights should never fight if they didn't want to win, but Mio's situation was different. He wondered if the transfer student could be Lisa. That evening, Takahiro returned to the cafe and was surprised to see Noelle dressed in a maid outfit. When he asked what was going on, Noelle explained that she was doing part-time work temporarily. Although her family usually prohibited her from taking part-time jobs, she had to do it to help a friend. Ayako asked Mio to rest that day even though Mio had previously said jousting wouldn't interfere with her work. Mio was so enthusiastic about training that she exhausted herself. Akane remarked that Mio's situation wasn't surprising considering how hard she had been training in such a short time. Takahiro thanked Noelle for helping Mio so much. Noelle brushed it off, saying the rest was up to Mio. She added that Mio had performed better than she had expected and wished Mireille could see it. When Takahiro asked who Mireille was, Noelle explained that Mireille was her sweet little sister. Ayako then told Noelle to deliver an order to table number 5. After resting, Mio came out with Takahiro. He reminded her that the duel was tomorrow. Mio said everything would end then. She shared how sad she felt. Initially, she had planned to quit school, but the thought of not seeing Takahiro anymore had stopped her. Realizing what she had just confessed, she quickly corrected herself, claiming that the real reason she delayed leaving school was that she wanted to continue jousting with everyone. Everything kept changing, Mio said, but she couldn't deny that at that moment, she realized she had experienced jousting in the way Takahiro loved the most. Jousting can be scary, painful, and difficult at times, but Mio felt happy to be involved in something that Takahiro was also part of. That's why Mio promised to do her best tomorrow. Even if she ended up losing badly, she would still tell everyone that she loved jousting. Takahiro was surprised to hear that, and Mio blushed. She realized she had just started jousting and wondered if saying something like that was premature. Takahiro told her she was completely wrong. No one had the right to deny someone else's joy, and he encouraged Mio to be proud. Takahiro admitted he was genuinely happy to know that she enjoyed jousting, which made Mio smile. When Mio got home, she immediately soaked in warm water. Her entire body ached, but she felt strangely satisfied. She thought about how she was now like Noelle and Akane. Mio even joked to herself that she was almost like a real knight. Although it was tough and sometimes painful, jousting always brought her joy. Standing in front of a mirror, she looked at her reflection and examined her body. The next morning, Takahiro was getting ready for school. On his way, he heard Mio calling out to him. He turned around and was startled to see that her hair was now short. Surprised by her new look, he asked what happened to her hair. Mio nervously asked if it didn't look good on her. Takahiro reassured her that her new haircut looked great, which made Mio smile in relief. When Takahiro asked why she had cut it, Mio explained that unlike Noelle or Akane, she didn't have their skills, so her long hair would only get in the way. Takahiro agreed with her reasoning. He then asked if she planned to duel only this once. Mio confirmed it, saying she only wanted to experience it once but had decided she would win. Takahiro lowered his head for a moment and gently patted Mio's head. Mio protested, saying she had just styled her hair, but Takahiro playfully messed it up anyway. He told her not to worry and assured her she would win the match. The day of the jousting match between Bertile and Mio finally arrived. Students gathered in the stands, buzzing with excitement. Mio, already dressed in her armor, seemed visibly nervous. Akane, noticing her unease, decided to help. She suddenly pushed Mio, causing her to bump into Takahiro. Both Mio and Takahiro were startled, and Mio asked what Akane was trying to do. Akane just smiled and said that Mio wasn't nervous anymore, was she? Mio realized Akane was right and felt her nerves settle. Both Akane and James smiled in satisfaction. At that moment, Bertile, An, and Emma approached them. Valkyrie asked if Mio was ready for the match, reminding her of the humiliation Valkyrie had suffered before and promising she wouldn't forget it. Mio retorted that Valkyrie's armor design was just as revealing as the accident she had caused. Anne pointed out that Valkyrie was the only person at school who could pull off armor like that, and Emma added that no one else could wear it quite like her. Valkyrie then turned to Takahiro and asked if he was Mio's squire. Takahiro introduced himself. Valkyrie mentioned that her horse, Weissrosen, was ready and waiting. She urged Mio to prepare for the duel. With that, Valkyrie and her two friends walked off. Takahiro asked Mio if she was ready, and the two headed toward the jousting arena. At the arena, Shinonome began broadcasting the match between Valkyrie and Mio, hyping it as an extraordinary duel. Takahiro took a moment to share his analysis of Valkyrie's strategy with Mio. He explained that Valkyrie often used a move called the feather fly against weaker opponents. Takahiro advised Mio to let Valkyrie's lance come close and, at the last moment, dodge it. Then, after Valkyrie moved, Mio should aim for her left shoulder. Mio asked why she had to close her eyes. Takahiro explained it was part of their plan. He wanted Mio to win the first round and, if possible, catch Valkyrie off guard, making it look like Mio's victory was just luck. This, he said, was the most crucial part of the strategy. Mio nodded, fully trusting Takahiro's reasoning. Takahiro also pointed out that Valkyrie's attacks weren't as fast as Noelle's, reminding Mio to rely on her training. She understood and asked Takahiro to wish her luck. Meanwhile, Anne handed Valkyrie her lance. Emma wondered what kind of strategy Takahiro and Mio might have planned. Valkyrie confidently assured her friends that there was no way she would lose to Mio, no matter the circumstances. Anne and Emma admired Valkyrie's confidence and exceptional skill. The match began as Valkyrie and Mio rode to their designated starting positions. Watching from the stands, Noelle hoped Mio would do her best. Both riders spurred their horses forward, charging at each other. Valkyrie was certain of her victory, but Mio stayed focused and followed Takahiro's instructions. As Valkyrie closed in, Mio dodged her attack, closed her eyes, and aimed her lance at Valkyrie's left shoulder. The strike was successful, knocking Valkyrie off her horse and giving Mio the victory in the first round. Takahiro praised Mio for her incredible performance, calling it an impressive first-round win. Mio beamed, grateful for Takahiro's excellent strategy. On the other hand, Valkyrie was stunned by the outcome. Anne and Emma tried to comfort her, but Valkyrie asked if they had noticed something unusual. Mio had closed her eyes when making the strike. That confirmed Valkyrie's suspicion that Mio was truly a novice knight. As Takahiro and Mio prepared for the second round, Takahiro anticipated that Valkyrie might use a feint attack targeting Mio's feathers, aiming to knock them off her helmet for points. Valkyrie, fueled by pride, was determined to crush Mio. Mio asked what she should do, and Takahiro suggested letting Valkyrie's feint succeed so she could score some points. This would make Valkyrie overconfident and careless, assuming Mio's earlier victory had been pure luck. Though hesitant at first, Mio agreed to follow Takahiro's instructions. In the second round, as predicted, Valkyrie's feint attack landed on Mio's stomach, earning her 2 points. Watching from the stands, James recognized Takahiro's clever strategy to let Valkyrie score, while Noelle and Akane praised both Takahiro's planning and Mio's ability to follow through. Valkyrie, on the other hand, was perplexed. She had only used a feint, yet Mio hadn't avoided it, solidifying her belief that Mio was inexperienced. Anne and Emma praised Valkyrie's decision to score 2 points instead of attempting a flashy featherfly attack. Valkyrie, always eager to maintain her image, declared that earning points like those was a breeze for her. Meanwhile, Reina and Celia watched the match from the student council room. They commented on how well Mio was performing for a beginner, showing promising potential. As Mio and Takahiro prepared for the next round, Takahiro predicted that Valkyrie would play it safe, aiming for points rather than trying to knock Mio off her horse. Valkyrie would likely think she only needed one more point to win and wouldn't take unnecessary risks. Mio understood. Takahiro added that Valkyrie probably believed Mio's earlier win was a fluke because of the closed eyes strike. For this round, Takahiro told Mio not to close her eyes. She needed to lean into Valkyrie's lance, dodge it at the last moment, and then counterattack. Takahiro instructed Mio to strike Valkyrie's arm with as much force as possible. Mio hesitated but eventually nodded, reassured by Takahiro's confidence in her. Takahiro was confident that Mio could read her opponent's movements because, in his eyes, Mio's ability to observe and react was unmatched. That, he believed, was her greatest weapon at the moment. He encouraged Mio to trust him until the very end. Valkyrie and Mio returned to their starting positions to prepare for the third round. Once the round began, they galloped toward each other at full speed. Valkyrie aimed her lance and Mio approached, trying to dodge the attack. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to evade it completely, resulting in a tie. The match was now down to the final decisive round. Watching from the stands, James noted that it seemed Takahiro hadn't considered this possibility in his strategy. Feeling disheartened, Miyo apologized to Takahiro for failing to dodge Valkyrie's lance. However, Takahiro admitted that the blame lay with him. He realized that Miyo hadn't been jousting long enough to pull off such a precise dodge at close range, something he should have anticipated. Miyo's expression turned somber, and Takahiro noticed it immediately. He understood that she looked at him that way because she felt his frustration. As her squire, even if unofficial, it was his responsibility to support her. Seeing how much she trusted him, Takahiro resolved to focus on helping her. He encouraged Miyo to carefully observe Valkyrie's movements in the final round. His plan was for Miyo to counterattack at the same moment her opponent struck while dodging her attack. Takahiro was certain this would work. Reassured, Miyo nodded and rode her horse back to the starting position. Takahiro called out to her once more, bolstering her confidence, telling her she would win. Shinonome announced to the spectators that the final round was about to begin. The audience watched with bated breath as Miyo and Valkyrie took their positions. The tension was palpable as both riders spurred their horses forward at full speed. Valkyrie was determined to end the match with this strike, while Miyo, emboldened by Takahiro's unwavering support, believed she could win. As the two riders closed in, Valkyrie aimed for a feather fly attack. But Miyo managed to dodge her strike and countered with precision, hitting Valkyrie and forcing her to drop her lance. The match was over. Miyo had won. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause. Miyo was overjoyed with her victory, unable to contain her excitement. From the Academy's garden, Lisa and Fiona observed the match. Fiona dismissed Miyo's victory as mere luck, but Lisa had a hunch that Takahiro was not just some ordinary guy. Similarly, Reina and Celia watched from the student council room. Reina admired Takahiro's ability to excel as both a knight and a remarkable squire. Celia, deeply impressed, expressed her desire for Takahiro to be her squire someday. Meanwhile, Anne couldn't believe that someone as skilled as Valkyrie had been defeated by a novice. Emma suggested it must be a bad dream. However, Valkyrie, ever noble, told her friends that the match had been a fair contest between knights and as such, they should congratulate the victor. That, she said, was the essence of being a noble. After dismounting from her horse, Miyo ran toward Takahiro and threw her arms around him in a heartfelt embrace. Overcome with emotion, she thanked him for guiding her to victory. Then, realizing her enthusiasm, Miyo pulled away and apologized for her recklessness earlier, expressing her deep gratitude not only to Takahiro but also to Noelle, Akane, Ayako, and Sakura. That day, under the blooming cherry blossoms, a young knight was born at Winford Academy. That night, Miyo and the others raised their glasses to celebrate her victory in the jousting match against Valkyrie. Miyo was deeply grateful to everyone who had helped her. Akane complimented Miyo on her outstanding performance, but Takahiro reassured her, saying she had worked hard. Akane agreed, adding that while Valkyrie wasn't as formidable as expected, she was still decent. She also mentioned that even though Miyo was just a beginner, she had managed to win. Miyo smiled at the compliment. Noelle noted how Miyo's counterattack at the last moment was absolutely perfect. Akane praised Miyo's exceptional ability to read the match, but suggested that she should have moved her arm further inward during the second round. Hearing Akane's critique, Ayako urged her to stop, reminding them that Miyo was done with jousting. Miyo laughed, declaring that starting tomorrow she'd just be an ordinary girl again. Miyo cheered on Noelle and Akane, and Noelle asked if Akane had developed any new techniques for the tournament. Akane admitted she wasn't fully confident in her skills yet, but when Noelle pressed her to share what kind of techniques she was working on, Akane refused to reveal anything. Miyo held onto the jousting helmet that Takahiro had given her. The next morning, Akane boarded the bus for jousting practice. Miyo greeted her as she stepped onto the bus. Akane asked if Miyo wasn't done with practice, and Miyo replied that she'd woken up early out of habit. Akane commented that it wasn't surprising, as getting up early had become second nature to Miyo during her jousting training. Miyo remarked that it must be tough for Akane to keep up with such a rigorous routine every day, but Akane replied that being a knight required discipline. Akane joked that watching her practice might not be much fun, but Miyo said she didn't mind. She complimented Akane on how spotless her equipment always looked. Akane explained that a knight couldn't be called one if their gear wasn't clean. It was the first lesson she'd learned when she started jousting. Miyo asked if Akane had really started jousting at the age of 5. Akane fondly recalled those early days, sharing how her parents often took her to watch jousting matches. It was during one of those moments that she realized she wanted to become a knight, calling it her destiny. When they arrived at the training grounds, they noticed a knight in black armor. The knight galloped across the field, aiming their lance at various targets, hitting each one flawlessly. Impressed, Mio commented on the knight's incredible skill. Akane speculated that the knight must be in Class A like herself, though she had never seen that armor before. She guessed the knight might be a new student. The mysterious knight left the training grounds without saying a word. In the student infirmary, Ayako was examining Takahiro's leg. He mentioned he was still feeling pain from his old injury. Ayako assured him that the injury should have healed by now, that whether he could become a knight again depended on how he felt. If the pain persisted, she advised him to consult a specialist. Fiona and Lisa entered the infirmary to grab some bandages, but from behind the curtain, Ayako and Takahiro's positions made it look as though something inappropriate was happening. Fiona, shocked, quickly blocked Lisa from seeing further. During class, Mio was playing with a knight figurine on horseback instead of focusing on her lessons. She glanced out the window, watching others practice jousting. The teacher approached her, urging Mio to pay attention to the lesson. After school, Mio went to watch the knights train instead of heading home. It seemed like she still had a longing for jousting. Even during her part-time job at a cafe, she found herself using a tuning fork on a sandwich she had prepared, pretending it was a lance. Ayako arrived and was surprised to see Mio had already finished assembling the sandwiches. Mio greeted her with a smile. That evening, Mio soaked in the bath, staring at the scratch on her hand, a mark left from her jousting days. After finishing her bath, she looked at her slightly dirty jousting helmet. Unable to leave it as it was, she began to clean it. The next day, Takahiro went to the jousting practice grounds and noticed a few jousting lances lying around. He reached out to pick one up, wanting to relive his memories of jousting, but he hesitated and decided against it. In the backyard, Lisa and Fiona were pushing a cart full of jousting equipment. Fiona suddenly stopped, complaining of exhaustion. She grumbled about why she and Lisa had to move such heavy loads, calling it old-fashioned to make first-year students do all the cleaning. Fiona suggested they stop, arguing that tasks like these should be given to those without talent. She was confident that if Lisa won the summer tournament, they wouldn't have to deal with such chores anymore. Just then, Akane approached them and asked if they were first years. She criticized their behavior, reminding them that they wouldn't win without the equipment. Fiona scoffed at Akane's words, dismissing her concern and claiming that equipment had nothing to do with someone's abilities. Akane retorted that a true knight never forgets to show gratitude toward their gear. Fiona cut her off, mockingly calling jousting a stupid competition, which shocked Akane. Fiona went on to ridicule the knight curriculum, saying it was pathetic how students from that program lost to regular students. She called the program low-level and confidently claimed that if all the upperclassmen were like Akane, not only would Lisa win, but she might even dominate. Akane warned Fiona not to be overconfident. Fiona taunted her further, asking if Lisa would show her skills right there and then. Akane responded that a wise knight never wields their lance without careful consideration. Fiona smirked, suggesting that Akane would be humiliated if she were defeated by a first year. Lisa, stepping in, said she didn't mind settling things immediately. Akane and Lisa quickly put on their armor and mounted their horses. As they began their match, Noelle, who was lounging on a tree swing nearby, was startled when Akane and her horse dashed past. Takahiro, also nearby, grew curious about what Akane was up to. Akane rode straight to the training grounds, where Lisa appeared wearing the same black armor Akane had seen before. Fiona cheered Lisa on, sarcastically telling her to go easy on the upperclassmen. Takahiro arrived at the scene and asked what was going on. Fiona was startled to see Takahiro, referring to him mockingly as the pervy upperclassman. She told him they were clearly about to duel and yelled at Lisa to score points quickly. Takahiro, concerned, asked if they had gotten permission to fight, to which Fiona nonchalantly replied that they hadn't. Takahiro shouted at Akane, urging her not to make such a reckless decision, but it was clear neither of them intended to back down. Meanwhile, Mio was feeding Sakura, her horse, and thanked him. She admitted she wouldn't have won without him letting her ride. Mio wondered aloud who might ride Sakura in the summer tournament. Just then, James approached her, calling out her name. Surprised, Mio turned to him and said she was planning to return the armor she had borrowed. James noticed it had been cleaned and told her it was a gift from him. He asked if she no longer needed it, but Mio couldn't bring herself to respond. She quickly excused herself, saying she had to get to work. Back at the practice field, Akane and Lisa were gearing up for their match. As they launched their horses forward, Akane counted down from 3 before making her move. She attacked, but Lisa read her strategy effortlessly. Lisa noted that while Akane's aim was precise, her intentions were far too obvious. Lisa dodged the attack and retaliated with a strong strike, but it wasn't enough to knock Akane down. Fiona and Takahiro watched from the sidelines. Takahiro started to realize that the rumors about Lisa's skill were true. Akane acknowledged Lisa's impressive talent but remained confident that Lisa wouldn't let her guard down even while leading. Elsewhere, Mio was by the riverbank when she noticed a jousting match in progress. During the second round, both knights charged at each other, but neither was unseated. Their lances merely clashed mid-air, resulting in a draw. Frustrated, Fiona shouted, complaining about the outcome and taunting Akane, asking if she even knew when to quit. Akane shook her head, incredulous at the defiance of such a troublesome underclassman at Winford Academy. Fiona replaced Lisa's lance and told her to win the next round. Lisa nodded while Akane decided to use her new technique, even though it wasn't perfected yet. She was determined to try. Mio, rushing toward the match, finally realized it was Akane who was dueling. As Akane and Lisa started the third round, they charged forward on their horses, lances ready. Akane launched her attack, but Lisa, analyzing her movements, thought it was the same as before and deemed the effort futile. Initially, Lisa dodged successfully, but Akane quickly pulled her lance back for another strike. With confidence in her move, Akane thrust her lance again, hitting Lisa's arm. Fiona, puzzled, turned to Takahiro and asked what had just happened. Takahiro explained that the move was called a double attack. Both he and Mio praised Akane's impressive use of her new technique. Lisa called Akane annoying but admitted she was strong. For the first time, Lisa felt she had a truly formidable opponent. Fiona acknowledged that the third round was surprising but noted that the score remained tied. She remained confident that Lisa wouldn't lose to Akane. Suddenly, Noelle arrived on horseback riding toward Takahiro and Fiona. She informed them that Rina, the student council vice president, was on her way. Fiona asked why that mattered. Noelle explained that matches without school approval were prohibited, and if the student council found out, neither Akane nor Lisa would be allowed to participate in the summer tournament. Fiona panicked, exclaiming that Lisa had to be in the tournament. However, Lisa and Akane had already begun their fourth round. Noelle and Fiona shouted at them to stop, but their efforts were in vain. Takahiro quickly borrowed Noelle's horse and raced the field. Picking up one of the lances used in the match, he charged toward Akane and Lisa. Just as their lances were about to clash, Takahiro struck both lances, deflecting them to prevent any contact. His sudden action left Akane and Lisa stunned. Mio, watching from a distance, observed Takahiro's bold move. At that moment, Rana arrived with two other student council members. She sternly told Akane and Lisa that dueling was not allowed. Takahiro, stepping in, asked Rana what the issue was. Rana questioned Takahiro about his presence there. Thinking quickly, Takahiro explained that they were simply helping Lisa, the new student, practice horseback riding. Rana had accepted his explanation as a misunderstanding, though one of her companions seemed skeptical. Rana warned them not to trouble the student council again, and both Takahiro and Akane nodded in agreement. Rana then led her companions away. Once they were gone, Fiona sighed in relief, grateful that the student council hadn't uncovered the truth. Noelle complimented Takahiro, and Akane expressed her gratitude, saying he had saved both her and Lisa. She marveled at how he had deflected two lances simultaneously, comparing his skill to that of a god. Takahiro glanced at his hand, seemingly lost in thought. Lisa, however, called him reckless, questioning if there wasn't another way to resolve the situation. She also remarked that his hand must be numb by now. Akane turned to Lisa, saying that unfortunately they would have to settle their match during the summer tournament. Lisa smiled, saying she looked forward to it. Noelle then introduced herself to Lisa, solidifying their newfound camaraderie. Meanwhile, Mio continued to watch from afar. Her heart stirred as she thought about her desire to be more than a spectator. Even though she didn't think she was as skilled as the others, she longed to ride Sakura again. She wanted to be like Akane, Noelle, and Takahiro, a true knight. Finally, unable to hold back, Mio ran toward them, shouting that she loved jousting and wanted to join the tournament. Her sudden declaration left everyone surprised. And so the wheel of fate turned once more, signaling the start of a new season for the Knights. Mio approached James, calling out to him. It seemed she wanted to borrow the armor again.